The NHS is under immense pressure.
I was getting a bit depressed.
My main issues were my son, you know, he was, psychosis.
Before I went to the GP, I was feeling very, very depressed.
Social prescribing really is about alternatives to the medical model. It's looking at social activities which can improve health and well-being.
Supporting the medical model, if you like, promoting exercise, promoting the way that we think and see the world.
Well, social prescribing is avoiding prescription of medication.
I've been coming to this group for about 2 years now. I find myself not in work because I've been diagnosed with fatigue. I was very low. I felt quite isolated. I felt like my potential, it was just ebbing. I've come back to my normal self and I feel like I'm in a better space. I think it makes sense to have social prescribing because it replaces how the community used to be. Social prescribing is much cheaper than going to the doctors, taking her loads of pills, taking her loads of tests, when all you need is just to come out of the house and have something that you enjoy doing.
Kneading bread exercises the upper body and you're thinking about what you need to do, which gives you mental stimulation. Exercises the mind as well.
And by doing this, it's really helped me out and made my life a lot easier.
Since I've been going to Positive Minds, I haven't had to go back to the doctors so much.
I feel a bit more optimistic about the future.
So just to come here and find some comfort really and someone to talk to, it just takes it all off your mind, really.
There are different social prescribing projects. In terms of their effectiveness, they need time and space to develop effective relationships and local knowledge to support individuals. That is vital to ensure their success for the future.
If we look to the community that we come from, I find that the answer is there. And I think that will help to kind of alleviate the pressure on the system.
I was quite depressed and I had a lot of anxiety. So my care coordinator said, perhaps you'd like to go to this group. It's better than having a tablet. They work as well, but it's the social aspect because people get isolated, and this is a social thing.
We don't like just chucking antidepressants at people, like some people sort of suggest in the media. So it's not as simple as that. We'd still do our very best not to prescribe antidepressants, for example, if we didn't think they were absolutely necessary. When there is social prescribing, it means we've just got a lot more tools up our sleeve.
We've recently worked with the University of the West of England to do some research into the outcomes and effectiveness of our Art on Prescription programme. Basically, the research has found that it saves costs and is cost efficient in terms of saving the use of secondary mental health care services, but also quite clearly it actually means that people visit their GPs less often, thereby saving important resources.
I know that small projects work. The problem is that there is always a wish to have an economy of scale. Small is beautiful.
The thing about people in an area like this is that they often don't travel outside the local area. Some people never go more than a mile radius ever. And I think that although we want to expand social prescribing, I think one of the keys to it being successful is for it to involve local people. So whilst I'd like the model to be expanded, I think if it becomes something that you have to go to a central hub 1.5 miles away or 2 miles away, I think you'd get less local effect.
Unless we look to effective solutions now to address the crisis in primary care, then we are going to have an even bigger crisis. The bills to pick up that crisis will go off to the secondary care sector. So it needs some hard thinking now and some strategic financial investment to ensure that social prescribing can effectively contribute to diminishing the impact of that crisis.
And it's rarely medical. Very rarely medical. It's almost always to do with having got a purpose.